Hey guys, so someone asked me about how to deconstruct male anatomy, and I figured since I got the question, I might as well do both male and female anatomy and break it down how I break it down. Before I begin, know that this is not a comprehensive end-all be-all to anatomy. This is my cheat sheet to anatomy, and this is no replacement for actual life drawing or like actual experimentation with anatomy in life. I've taken several life drawing classes and several anatomy classes to be able to shorthand this like this, and this is still not completely correct. So just keep that in mind and take everything I say with a grain of salt. But to begin, so you know the basic human body, you've got male or female, right? You have the skeleton, and there's some points in the skeleton that are generally the key points that you want to kind of keep in mind. I'm just going to use this buddy right here, hide her. All right, there we go. Well, let's talk about this first. So these are, if you move these two over each other, they are almost identical, except for some few key differences. And one distinctly reads as female, and one distinctly reads as male, just by looks. These right here are the most stereotypical, most bland, most milquetoast, most boring depictions of a generic female and a generic male that I could whip up in, a minute. So let's look at the differences here. So the most notable difference is that you've got more smooth, rounded forms on the female, right? The hitbox is hitbox. No, the hip box is wider on the female than the male, which usually gives the female that kind of hourglass shape, whereas the man kind of gets this trapezoidal kind of shape. Some of you guys call it the Dorito. Yum. But oh no, wrong layer. The big thing is constructing this form. So I'm gonna give you the shapes that I have and tell you where they come from and how I manipulate them. So first of all, for any drawing that I do, I usually start with a rough gesture, right? Which maybe won't be clearly to read to some of you, but it'll be pretty clear to me. So right here we got a guy who's sitting. Let's put his hands maybe in his lap or something. Yeah, that's about right. So let's go ahead and start with these two pieces. These two pieces right here, the hitbox, and this stems from the rib cage, because the rib cage wraps up and around like this. Again, these are all really simplified shapes. I have drawn hundreds of rib cages. So that's why I know where it is. We go back to this, right? Let's say, we go where he's facing over here, so we kind of get that ribcage shape in. So that automatically gives us the direction that he's facing. And this right here is kind of where these ribs come in. The most important part on the ribs for these forms is most of the time, even if you got some shub on you, this part right here will influence the visible form of the body. And then this is where the tummy goes, right? I guess I should say three portions. These three kind of link up like a snake doll. And you got the hitbox. My hitbox, I call it a hitbox, but I kind of fudge it and kind of make it like an underpants shape. Just pretend you're drawing underpants on your guy. Whoop up. So that kind of gives us the torso, right? And that's a pretty good look, and you got something going here, right? Back that rib cage. Next up, you want to really focus on like where's your head gonna go. This guy's probably looks like he's gonna be right there. And most people know you start with a circle for the head. I'm gonna diagram the head too in a few, but for right now we're just gonna leave it a fancy circle. And then there's a muscle up here. You can actually feel it if you go between where your base of your neck and your shoulder bone. You'll have a muscle there. I can't remember what it's called right now. Shame on me. I just took anatomy. And it kind of connects things. It also it creates that hollow with your collarbone. It's like right about here. Speaking of the collarbone is your best asset. Feel where your collarbone starts near your neck and then trace it and tell me where it ends up, right on that shoulder bone. So you can usually make this sort of shape, which already places your neck goes into that. So this point right here, super key. Collarbones and your tendons in your neck both connect there. Some of them do. Some of them go back around to the back, but for our purposes. And then you get a neck. Let's just do this for now. Headless man. You got those muscles, right? You got these. Now you kind of... Okay, I know I called this the rib cage, but where it actually ends up being is usually where I put the pecs, which is backwards, but... Got a guy sitting here, get a little pudge, whatever. And then you have the shoulders. And the shoulders have this really great muscle called the deltoid. And that's where these little like teardrop shapes come from. Also, remember to flip your canvas sometimes. Flipping your canvas lets you know where you messed up. It tells you immediately if there's something wrong. If you don't believe me, then try it. Get back to me. See, I'm erasing some of my stuff to make it all fit properly. And this, me erasing and going through all this is because I've done this a ton of times, so I kind of know what to look for. If you're flipping your canvas and you're like, oh my god, what's wrong? It's going to take some time, probably, to be able to identify the things off the bat that don't fit. And I still miss stuff all the time. But you get the deltoids here. The deltoids are kind of where your shoulder cap is. You know, shoulder, top of your shoulder. And from here, you can kind of get your arms. Fun fact about arms, they go midway to your, if you're holding them straight down, go to about your waist, you know, a little bit above the belly button, which is a great proportional tool, and then your hands drop down here, and you got about midway through your leg. So that's a good proportional marker. So, say he's leaning his hand there. Say he's leaning his arm back. There we go. That seems more natural. As for the rest of the arms, they're kind of just... I'm not adding any muscle right now. These are just tubes that are placeholders. Then you got your legs. I know I'm kind of adding some foreshortening in here, and not a lot, but... tubes, you know? Look, you got a guy sitting. That's pretty great, right? Headless man. So yeah, I mean, you got a body going. Also, this is probably something for newer artists, but overlap is your best friend. Overlap is considered a depth cue, so it really helps you place things in space. For example, this is overlapping this, which is overlapping this, which makes this illusion of going back, this form receding in space. And this is not just for like posing and stuff, it can be used for composition of larger things and pieces and environments. Overlap is your friend. Because, again, remember I said these are like super boring and stereotypical? Yeah, because you can't really tell, they look flat, they're drawings. Alright, so, again, just to recap, super quick, too long didn't read. Tendon, collarbone, deltoid, fun rib slash pec box. It's kind of this shape, by the way. It always... a beanism. Got a bean going on. And you can twist that any way you like. And you get cool other new shapes and new positions. Got the tummy box, and then the hip box, which again is kind of like underwear, and it flexes as you need it to. Technically, it's where your pelvis bowl is. So, like, if you were to really look at it, it'd be kind of like ugly pelvis bowl. But yeah, so that's kind of how I do male anatomy. You got, you know, this doesn't stay here, and you'd add more muscle depending on how muscular this person I'm drawing is, which I guess is pretty buff, because why not? Also, the pecs usually is always, you know, armpits exist. The muscle here kind of connects to underneath the arm, so then you got the divide in the middle there, fancy, and sometimes you got abs. There are tendons that kind of go fascia, I guess. You got abs, should you want abs, they are there. Fun fact, 8-packs don't exist. The 6th one is actually the Iliac Crest, which is here. I'm not going to tell you about that because I personally cannot draw it properly and I don't want to mislead or misinform you guys, but if you want to know more about it, do search it up, Iliac Crest. And it's the fake ab. And it only happens when you have really buff guys. I'm also gonna post this video in real time because I don't want to like mislead you guys with the speed paint. Be like, oh, she did it so fast. I know I'm kind of rushing here, but so yeah, I mean you got a basic male form here. It's pretty dandy. It's got kind of a thick thigh, but you know, we live, we learn, we love the thick thighs. Kneecap. So let's talk about the face, and then I'll talk about the face of a male, and I'll talk about the female form and a female face. It's gonna be a long video, by the way. I'll probably preface that at the beginning with some other recorded message. So let's look at ladies. Oh wait, no, male head first. No, let's compare the bodies first. It's important. So female bodies, again, so many different types. Let's go ahead and draw a chubbier lady with the same rules, different body type. Got the rib cage going, right? This is gonna be again, gesture drawing to kind of start us out. Alright, let's go with this. Let's keep her headless to keep things fair, right? And I have that rib cage. And I have the tummy tube, which sounds awful. And then I've got the hitbox. So as you can see, there are no actual like breasts on the figure yet. Okay, we're gonna talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the boob. Let's talk about the breast. So in human anatomy, this is a female rib cage. This could also be a male rib cage. It is all the same. Female breasts rest on top of the pectoral muscle on the rib cage. Okay, they rest on top. That's it. That's all they do. They don't float away into magic titty gravity pockets. It's not how it happens. They sag. There's gravity. They're affected by gravity fully. They rest there. It's not... I got some opinions, you guys. I can always tell when a male has drawn a female. Always. Because the boobs... This is what... Look. Wrong. Unless they're wearing a push-up bra. Here's the ribs, right? Big boob. First of all, of course, they'll have huge boobs. Huge boobs. Like, you'll be looking at that, and as a girl, you're like, oh god, my back. Let's give them little dainty arms and a tiny waist. There you go, right? Wrong. For like 72 different reasons. Let's zoom back. First of all, let's look at this waist. There's no way she'd have enough, probably not enough body fat to... Speaking of which, the size of breasts are influenced by one, genetics, and also how much fat you have on your body. So just be aware of that. There's a correlation. So like, there you go. Look, doesn't it look better? Happier boobs, happier resting boobs. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming. It's only tangentially related to boobs. There we go. So again, the breasts, like the pecs, will rest on the little ribcage pocket I made. And I can't erase as I go because you guys are probably looking at this. And let's say, you know, got a little bit of a chubbier body type. Don't be afraid to add rolls to your drawings if you're drawing larger characters, because skin does that. Wrists do it, everything does it. You can, what is it? Even the muscular guy I just drew. Boom, right there. Well, I guess we're technically abs, but they weren't always. You can rewind and see that it wasn't originally. Also, remember that fat distributes evenly? Well, not always evenly, but people have fat distributed different ways. I always see people draw chubbier characters without enlarging their arms, which is a really weird and specific thing that I noticed, but, like, yeah. All the character of the character doesn't come from that underpinning, an underpin drawing. It comes from the volumes you add on top of it. So you make the skeleton, and then you add to it. You bring it to life with all the extra stuff. Because you guys just saw, it's basically the same thing for male and female, aside from the small, like, the curvature on the how fat lays in the body changes depending on whether you're a male or female. And of course, I'm not including any of this. I'm specifically talking about cisgendered men and women. There's a whole other spectrum, but this is just the generic black and white what you're looking at. Usually softer forms for females. Usually thicker ankles. If they are thicker, they're heavier. I'm not gonna go all the way down there, but got the neck going. And of course the arms as well. And of course I'm flipping my canvas as I go, like I said. So yeah, I mean, the same basic guiding principle, totally different body type. And look, you could even compare that to this down here. And I could diagram this too. Boom, rib cage, hitbox, and of course the deltoid also exists on females. If you guys were not aware, we all have the same muscles. It's all the same.